Yes guys, what is going on? Welcome to episode 17 of the Under-23 Sorare Road to Glory. First off, we're going to be reviewing game week 29. We're then going to be looking at some of the ways that I like to scout players, specifically Under-23, using Sorare data. For those of you that may be a little bit newer to this game, I think that's one of the biggest stumbling blocks in general. Like when you first come on the platform, it's like, how do I know who's a good player, who's performing well, who is going to maybe perform well in the coming game? So yeah, I'll be taking you through some of the the easier methods that I like to use, and then there will be a giveaway at the end of the video as well, as usual. So if you do enjoy, please do leave it a like and subscribe if you are new to the channel. And let's get into game week 29. So Division 2, 332.46 points. Lads, I just don't know what to do anymore when it comes to my captaincy. I just cannot for the life of me get my captaincy right. Klein Hansel's the skipper here. Drops a minus 4.7 AA, which is just all around score. It's just like, what can you do? They win the game. I think they were 3-1 up or 3-0 up. It was a good matchup on paper. Dakovic with a rare clean sheet. Affengrubber came off the bench, even though he played 67 minutes. Sorry, came off the bench because there was a injury to Bambo Diaby, who actually scored incredibly well in 23 minutes. I don't know whether it was a benching, I don't know whether it was just rotation, because they have played, over the international break, Elche that is. So maybe it was, a rest, but unfortunately he didn't get the rest he maybe wanted because he had to come on the field. But scored pretty well. He got the clean sheet bonus because he came on before the 30th minute. Leopold with some really nice AA, just couldn't get the DA. And Michel Sego, what a score. 88.2, absolutely smashed. 4 attempted assists and got himself the goal. Yeah, we were 14 points away from a box, 70 points away from a tier 5. So, yeah, captaincy choice really let us down there. And then in Division 3, we said, best case scenario, it would have been a high AA score from Toblason. It wasn't that high, but, 12, it isn't terrible, or 11.9. They only conceded 1, which I'm actually quite happy with, to be honest. They held USG to a 1-1 draw, which is really pleasing. I captain Affengrubber in this team. Of course, he came off the bench. Tom Kraus with some decent AA. Dion Bello did play the whole game, but a big chance missed. And Jacob Brown with an assist in the go-ahead game. I think it was a derby game against Almere City. Only played 68 minutes though, and he got a big chance missed just before going off. But yeah, did get the DA, so the only improvement I could have really done was basically go Brown for Klein Hansel, and if I would have given him, the captain's armband, I would have probably added 50 points to this score. Yeah, I scraped probably a decent box here, 49 points away, but still wouldn't have been in the prizes in Division 2. The scores are respectable. Like, I am kind of miles off the cards, but I'm not a million miles away from the boxes. It's just really that captaincy choice that's letting me down. I'm just not getting it right now. And yeah, hopefully that'll turn. I'm just glad Dakovic got a very rare clean sheet there. But we said it could happen. Like, the fixture was geared up for that to kind of happen. It don't always happen, of course, but thankfully it did here. If we look into the spreadsheet, I have updated all the floor prices of the cards. Total balance is the same, £2.42. I haven't made any new additions. Gallery value is just sitting just below £40. So I did notice quite a few dramatic drops. Well, Affengrubber went from like £3 to around £2, maybe because of the benching, but I don't know whether it was. Sego basically doubled in price. He went from like £1 something to £3.43 floor. Tom Kraus went up a little bit, I believe. Layson's around the same. Leopold around the same as well. Jankovic is really cheap right now, 57 pence floor, and he's got a great fixture this weekend. Brown went down as well, which I thought was a bit strange after getting a decisive. So yeah, that was a bit of a weird one. Big Sternberg, who plays for Genk, our only card reward from Sorare Pro, actually got off the bench and got a goal. So that was fun. Klein Hansel's price, is dramatically dropped. And Machedo's in a similar position. But yeah, we're still around that £40 mark. And, like I said, I'm not selling these cards. It's just nice to keep track of them. But yeah, not too much else to really say about the spreadsheets. We can probably get rid of that. So the main sort of bulk, the main part of this video outside of lineup building, which we'll do at the end, is, the ways in which I like to scout players. As far as Sorare data goes, there's a few ways I like to, use and utilize that really help me gauge what I'm up against and who's doing well in certain competitions. For us, it's under 23 related, of course. So if you go to the game week center, I'm already there now, but I'll show you how I do it. So I go to game week center. I just go to games. I'll toggle back to game week 29, which was, the previous weekend. I'll go to players, and this will give you a breakdown of all your players, because this is selected my players only. If I deselect that and I select the under 23 only tab, which will load, there we go. Yeah, we'll select that. We'll let the data load because there is a lot of it. You can go by league if you really want, but I like just opening it up to every league, and you can do it by position. We can condense it to position first, and we'll go through forwards, and it'll give you a breakdown of every player from the highest scoring players in under 23 that given game week to the lowest. So of course, all the players that have scored 100 are at the top, and it's just a nice thing for me to do after the game week when I'm sort of reviewing things to see who is doing well, and if there's any players that jump out to me here that I think could be value for money, maybe a bit underpriced, then I'll go and explore them further, and I'll kind of show you how I do that. So a lot of these players I do know because I've been around Sorare for a while. There'll always be a few names that pop up, and I'm a bit like, who is this guy? Of course, now I know who this Ayadin guy is. I know he moved from, I think it was Konyaspor or Lanyaspor, and he moved to Fenerbahce, and he hadn't really played. If you have a look here, literally DMP, sub, lots of injuries, I'm going to assume, and just obviously didn't get into the side, but did play this past weekend and scored 87. Now, if you have a look, his scores for the team he previously played for, he was a beast. Like, he was really good. There was a reason why Fenerbahce bought him. So I'll look at that and go, okay, do I think he, not walks into Fenerbahce's side, but do I think he could, be somebody that I could count on over the next, 5 to 6 months now? I look at his price and go, okay, £1.69 for an in-season card, or £1.12 for the Classic. I'll look at the fixtures and go, okay, it'd be interesting to see if he plays in this Europa League game, which is actually this midweek, game week 30, and this weekend they play Gaziantep at home. So it's one of them where I go, okay, I'll go in and check, do I think he's going to play? Is he going to be in Mourinho's plans? I mean, you can't do much more than get 3 decisives on, in 89 minutes. So he's definitely, come back with a bit of a bang. So it's just sort of, just scoping out situations. It doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to go in and buy him, but I just like knowing, or, this gives me the knowledge that I kind of need. I don't need it, but I think if you want to progress your gallery, if you want to really, this is the place to be searching. Now, Griffin Yao is one that was on my radar in last year's Road to Glory. I had him for a while. He's been injured. He plays in the Belgium League. But as you can see, last 3 games, he started all 3. Good minutes in the last 2 and managed to get a decisive. Plus 23 AA in the last game. Before that, he was injured. Didn't really start off the season very well because, yeah, I think he missed pre-season maybe. There was something funny going on with him. But again, I look at his price and go, 56 pence for the Classic. 84 pence for the in-season. Upcoming fixtures look pretty good. Dender away, Mekhilan at home, St. Truden at home. Genk at home isn't great, but, just to see that he is capable of doing those, high 80 scores as a forward card is really, really impressive. Like, anything above, 20, anything above 15, 10 to 15 AA or above for a forward is exceptional. Not exceptional, very good, I would say. But, like, there's loads of names here that I really don't know, and this is the beauty of, just scouting and spending time on this page. Casemiro, honestly never heard of him, 23 years old, and let's have a look at him. Okay, so he's a right mid, but he does play up front as well. Previous to this, doesn't really score that much AA. Lahav on a great side, of course. So, these sort of situations where he scores 78, if you look at his, previous year, it happens once in a blue moon, right? Like, it's not something that I look at and go, okay, he's going to do that every game from now on. Because that's just not the nature of probably him, the team. Like, the setup is probably not set up for him to do that. Whereas, if Ayadin is set to start now and become a starter for Fenerbahce, dominant side, I could kind of, played in the league already, I could kind of look at that and go, yeah, maybe he could replicate that. Maybe that score is somewhat sustainable. Not every game, but in those good matchups. And yeah, it's just something that I really like to do. And I think you do have to put time into it. Going into every, you don't have to go into every player, but if you really want to, you could go into every player and really sort of work out, are their scores sustainable? Was it a one-off? Is he not guaranteed to start, but is he in and around the first team for the remainder of the season? And, work out if you think his price is somewhere where you'd like to to buy in on. This is like the most valuable way of scouting, even though you're looking at, I mean, everything is previous scores. Like, we don't know what they're going to score in the next game, of course. We're using this as a bit of a baseline. Another thing I like to do is going over to Scout at the top. You go to Player and Card Finder, and this is where, yeah, you have a load of filters to go through. There's so many features here and so many filters. It could be quite overwhelming, I think, but for us, all we're going to do is, we're going to toggle the under 23 eligible. We're gonna leave this as all-star, meaning that they can play in any competition, because under 23 is open, to any competition. We're gonna go for starters only. I don't really want to be looking at substitutions necessarily. That could be a strategy in itself, though. Figuring out who's a sub now but could turn into a starter at some point. We're gonna go. Let's just look at defenders in general. You can even do it by just filtering players that have a game week this upcoming weekend, which is game week 31. So we'll do that. You can also go in and mess around with the L15 scores and go, okay, I only want to see players with an average score of 45 or above, for example, or whatever you want that to be. And you can also go in and do it by price and floor price. So we'll toggle it by limiteds. We'll go floor price, no more than £4. Okay, I'll use pounds for now. I'll go sort by last 15 average, and this will give me all the players that fit into that mold, and they'll all have a fixture this weekend. It'll show you the fixture as well, which is nice to show you if it's home or away. And it's just a case of scrolling through here and going, okay, do I think £1's good for Sekikawa, for example, who is playing in the J League, but the J League's finishing pretty soon. Probably not the best of. There's probably better money to spend, I would say. For example, Bart Van Rouge. You can look at all his L15s, 40s, and L5s, and obviously click into them, and it'll take you to their page, back to where we were on the previous player page. You can see their scores, of course. So, this one for me is very, very useful, especially if you're working within a price range. The other thing we use, the player pool on the game week, like, it doesn't tell you the prices or anything. You're just looking at the best scoring players, from the previous game week, where this will show you, the players you want to see in a specific price range. If you want that, you don't have to. Big David Affengrubber, comes up there, which is nice. This for me is, probably the easiest way to scout. It doesn't give you the full picture, but it gives you, a big enough picture to where, you can make a decent decision on, if you want to bring in that player or not. So for me, those are the two main ways that I like to have not a footprint, but I want to know if I'm playing under 23. This has always been my strategy. Like, I've played under 23 since the dawn of time on Sorare, in rare, super rare, and of course limited on this series. But for me, I want to know basically every single player that I'll need to come up against, that I might need to buy in that division. And for a long time, that's why I only played under 23, because I could really, my brain could basically take in all the information of every under 23 player. Compared to the whole platform, like, it's just impossible to know every single player from every single league, every single age group. It's just impossible. So for me, I condensed it and said, okay, I want to just become super knowledgeable in the under 23 department, figure out, basically every player that I need to know, that I might need to buy, for example. And yeah, that player page, the one we previously used, and this advanced search are the two. They're just invaluable. Like, without them, you wouldn't be able to have a grasp on the division, on under 23s in general. And for me, the more you know, the more players you know, it can only benefit you. Like, it can't harm you at all. It doesn't mean to say you have to buy them all. Just knowing about them, just knowing their tendencies, where they seem to score well. Is it home? Is it away? Are they on set pieces, for example? That's one thing I will show you, maybe, will definitely be rather valuable. So if we go back to, game week. This will be the last thing I say on this, and then we can go into some lineup building. So we go to players. Tom Bershoff, for example. This is my player page, but he is under 23. I click him, and I go, okay, he scored really well this weekend. What's the script with him? Right now, the only way to go in and see if a player does take set pieces, which I think's a really valuable thing in general. You go to the team page from the player page, which is, of course, Hoffenheim. You go to, you just actually scroll down. You can use last 5, last 15, last 40 to do this. I like to do last 5 because it gives you a better scope of, has this happened in the last 5 games? Because if you go to last 15, he might not have taken set pieces in the last 5 games, but taken them in the last 10. But that wouldn't actually show up here unless you go to last 5, scroll down, and it'll tell you corner takers. Tom Bershoff has taken 18 corners in the last 5 games. It won't give you a breakdown of like how many he's taken in each game of those last 5. I think that's something that the Sorare data are working on. From there, it's a really valuable tool. Yeah, who's taking the set pieces, the free kicks, etc. That might have went on a little bit longer than maybe some of you guys would have liked, and I'm sorry if you're new. I'd like to think that that would help you quite a lot, and if you're not new, then yeah, maybe you skip that section because you'll probably know, you'll know all that already. But I do want to let you know there is 15% off tomorrow and tomorrow only for Black Friday using code Harry on Sorare data. It'll get you 15% off star memberships. Outside of Black Friday, there's 10% off using my code. So yeah, only tomorrow though you'll get 15% off if you want to take advantage of that. There should be a link in the description as well that will take you to Sorare data. But code Harry will get you 15% off. So we need to get into some lineup building, lads. It is long overdue. As you can see here, Sorare data think the Machado, well, Sorare data themselves don't, but the community members on Sorare data that submit their projections think the Machado is going to play this weekend. We've got the Portuguese league back. Now, I'm not too confident in that personally. He did come off the bench in that previous league game. He then played in the cup and they lost 7-0 to Benfica. And then on top of that, the first team goalkeeper that did come off in this first game, apparently it was just an illness. So I don't think he's still ill. I think he's still, or he is able to play. I don't know who's going to play. I don't think anyone does. Predictions seem to think he is going to play. I don't know. I'm definitely not playing him in my first team is basically what I'm saying. But there is, hopefully a chance that he does make it into the first team and become number one, which would be great for us. Like, I'm not saying I don't want it to happen, but I'm not saying that it will happen. Anyway, we're going to go Layson in goal at home to Anderlecht. Not an easy game, but definitely a bit easier than the Varazdin game away for Dakovic. So we are going to go with Layson. We've got Affengruber away to Tenerife. We have Kleinhansel away to Schalke. And we have Danilo Vega, who is back in action, by the way. I've mentioned him the last couple of weeks. He's gone under the radar. He's back in the side. And he's got a couple of decisives. I don't know what's going on. Of course, he plays for with Machado, so we could have a little defensive stack there. I don't know if I'm confident enough to go with him, although they are playing a team below them in the league, so it looks like they might have a chance. I am going to actually check the predictions for La Liga 2 because I don't know if Affengruber's in. Okay, he's 90% on, which is good. Affengruber was a substitute simply because the coach wanted to defend Almio with Diaby. Interesting. Okay, so he was tactical. Well, it looks like he's back in then. Let's give him the defender slot. They're playing away to 21st in the league, so I can deal with that. Jankovic is at home to Gorica. That feels like a good fixture. By the way, Julian Bass is back in the building, can I just say. I think he took set pieces as well. 22 AA this past weekend against AZ. And I think he should be starting this weekend because there's a few injuries and suspensions in the Sparta midfield. So he is definitely in contention to play. Although it's away, I still really like that fixture. So I think I'm going to go Jankovic for the first position. Really good home fixture. I know he hasn't been on it recently, but I am going to back him. Now we have a funny situation where Sego is playing against Dakovic this weekend. So I'm not playing them in the same lineup. So we have to go. We don't have to, but I'm going to go Sego here. And I think I'm going to bring Julian Bass back from the dead. I'm going to captain Sego because he is the most 100 capable, I would say, in that lineup. A couple of aways in there, but more homes than aways, which I'll take. We're going to move over to the second lineup, which is going to be Division 3. We have to go Dakovic. Like, I don't know if Machado's going to play. He's going to be a third string player, keeper for us right now until we know the situation. I'm going to go Affengruber again. Leopold, Tom Kraus, they're both away. Guzman is at home to Sheffield Wednesday, but I just don't know if I can trust him. Leighton Clarkson came off the bench, as did Bulat in the last game. I'm going to go Kraus and Leopold here, double mid. And then it's either Brown or Dion Bello. Bello with a better fixture. I don't know why he would be benched necessarily unless they're going to rest him. Because the Austrian League is nearly over now. By the way, remember I said Sternberg? 5 minutes. All it took was to get a goal. I'm gonna have to go Bello. The fixture is way better. Loads of aways in this one though, which is scaring me a little bit, but it is only our second prioritized lineup. And then we'll go Division 5, and this is just going to be a complete, hopefully it gets promoted, but if Machado plays, we've got a chance here. We're going to go Vega, Machado, the defensive stack. We're going to go Guzman in midfield. Jacob Brown as our least prioritized forward. I feel bad on him because he is in form, like he's playing well, but I just can't trust that fixture away to 20 is really tough. And then we'll go Kleinhansel as our captain. I will give him the armband though because I think Kleinhansel's just cursed right now. I I can't trust him. And I think this is what we'll go in with. You know, no absolute smasher lineups on paper, I don't think. You know, with the amount of aways we have. And I don't know, I'm just not overly confident this weekend, if I'm being completely honest. If Machado does start, that would be massive for us, because this is the first time we've put 3 lineups in. Granted, we don't know if he's going to start, so it might only be, you know, 2.5 lineups technically. But it's Division 5. Like, surely we get a box from there. No boxes last weekend, so we're still on 6 Essence. I'm just quite excited at the thought of maybe having 3 lineups out already, and we're only at the end of November. You know, we started this, you know, August time, and we're already at a stage where we potentially could have three lineups out, which would be great. I am going to export my teams using Sorare export button, because it is the best thing that ever happened to Sorare, and that's just a fact. So easy. I mean, having 3 lineups is not that hard to do, of course. It's not time consuming. If you've got more lineups though, it does really save a lot of time. But we'll take us over to Sorare, sorry, and boom, I think we're in. I'm going to give this what's this? New surprises every day. Christmas is coming. I don't even know what this is. A neon Christmas surprise? I don't know what's going on here. This is the first time I've been on Sorare today. But I'm going to go down just to check if our lineups are locked and loaded, which they should be. And boom. There we go. I am seeing here, though, Dakovic plays Friday. Oh, Sego, of course, plays Friday. Kleinhansel Friday, as does Machado. So almost half of our players play Friday. I am praying the Friday night curse doesn't come for us. I will be giving away a limited card in this video, as always. Leave a like on the video, comment below, let me know how excited you are for this upcoming weekend. Let me know your Sorare gallery name, that's the important one, so I can send you a offer for a limited card. But yeah, I'll definitely be sending a limited card to one of you guys for watching, for engaging. I appreciate all your time. Hope you have a great game week, and I shall see you guys in the next episode.